Christ. Bastard wife.
Yes,
Christ.
that's what I was going to say. Bastard husband.
Christ.
Jesus Christ. What happened was...
What happened was, Denzel and I... Christ. I just like saying
got a wasp on our fanny.
Bloody wasp.
A bloody wasp on our fanny. Oh, I can't do Jethro. I don't know.
That's okay. Nobody can do Jethro. But
He's got a very distinctive
Jethro is Jethro.
voice, yes.
We can only hope to imitate a little bit. So, welcome to a Jethro video. Now, I got to explain a couple of things here.
A little different than usual.
Because we're going to be watching it, but we'll probably only be able to post the audio. Because for some reason, I've done a lot of Jethro videos, and a lot of them got taken down.
Yes.
And I have a few on there, which most of you have seen, so I'll leave a link to his playlist. But for whatever reason, the powers that be don't like us posting Jethro. And they've actually sent us stuff and said, hey, don't post videos of Jethro.
Yeah, and even though we've asked them to, so.
Yeah.
I know other people have, and I don't know how they're getting by it.
Oh, well, we can seem to be able to post some, but some have whatever. I respect copyright. That's fine.
Yep,
it happens.
It is what it is. Yeah.
But so it's disappointing. So we have to post the audio. So we'll actually see it, but then we'll have to post it as audio. You guys will just have to trust that we're having a good time, man.
Which we are.
And hopefully we'll be able to allow you to enjoy it anyways.
Yes.
Despite all that. So this is
you must hear it.
A bunch of clips of Jethro that have all kinds of jokes we haven't heard yet. So that'll be kind of
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. We love Jethro.
Jethro. No one can tell stories like this. I agree.
And for some reason we understand them.
Stupid.
There's actually a lot of English people that don't understand Jethro. And
really?
As Canadians, we understand him for some reason.
Probably because he sounds like every other drunk person in North Bay.
In Canada. In North Bay. It's so true.
Yes.
All right. So anyhow, that's my story and we're sticking to it.
Okay.
So, I guess no point saying the title. No one can tell stories like this. Fantastically stupid. Watch until the end. I don't know. We'll just play it. I'll put in some special effects in the background to make it interesting too. Yay.
What happened when Denver was marooned on a desert island? And he was there, and he eventually got captured by the cannonballs.
Cannonballs.
And they put him in a pot to roast him. When they realized he's from Camborne, they took him out, he said, because the last bugger they had in from Camborne had all the bloody potatoes. But he found a dog with no legs. And they become wonderful friends, great companions, and every day he took this dog for a drag. That's a hell of a hooter you got there, Maitland. Christ, I should put wing mirrors on that bugger. I'd like to sing you a beautiful song, then, gentlemen. This is a beautiful song that I've had written especially for me. It's called Don't Go Down the Mine, Granny. There's plenty of slack in your knickers. Or meet me outside the pawn shop and I'll kiss you under the balls. Or you can kiss a nun once, you can kiss a nun twice, but you mustn't get into the habit. It's a beautiful song, it's a country and western song. It's a beautiful song, and especially for Mrs. Richardson, who's in tonight, from Callington. And as you know, Callington is a third world country. They had a massive earthquake in Callington and did £7 worth of damage. My God, them girls are rough in Callington. I was given one the portion up against the spar shop. She said, you don't want to worry. She said, I've had a coil fitted. I said, with a fanny like yours, I should have had a carpet fitted. On a Tuesday night here in the club, we have old-time dancing. And it's wonderful. You get all the people come in, the older people, and they dance. And there's one old woman come in. I know anybody can be ugly, but she abused her privilege. And she is ugly. In fact, she's that ugly. I went and saw her. I went to a film. It was the filthiest film I ever seen. And she was there with this man she met. He must be 90. And they're together now. And I said, surprised to see them watching such a filthy film. And the music come on, and then this woman came out. She was about 90 with a Zimmer frame. Christ. She's worse than you. She did a strip, this woman about 90. Disgusting. I couldn't. Then on come a big Irish wolfhound. He was involved with a bloody. Christ, that bloody disgusting. What this Irish wolfhound does, filthy bastard film.
Oh no.
I was glad when it's over. And I walk out and I said to these people, did you enjoy the film? They said, no, we didn't. Absolutely disgusting. I never seen nothing so disgusting. I said, what about the music? Did you enjoy it? No, they said, they bloody didn't. We should never come. I said, well, why did you come? They said, it's our dog. I went in to see the doctor and I said, I got a little lump growing on my forehead. He said, that's very unusual. He said, that's penisitis. I said, what's that? He said, you're growing a cock on your forehead. I said, well, can you take it off? Well, he said, it's not, because the roots will go right through to the back of your skull. He said, very dangerous to remove it. Only 3 cases of that in the last 40 years. I said, you mean to say I got to look at a cock on my forehead for the rest of my life? No, he said, you won't see it because your bollock's lying in your eye. You won't see it.
Oh my God.
Denzel, he's got a good job. He's a toilet attendant in Callington, in one of these dugout shithouses, you know. Eastern Bloc, lower level, one of them, you know. I said, what's it like, Denzel, down here in this toilet? You've been here 40 years. Jethro, he said, do you know, he said, it's all changed now. From when I started, he said, people come down here, he said, they're sniffing drugs up their hooters. He said, you got perverts here playing with their dicky doodlers. Then you get twos come in playing with one another's dicky doodlers. Then they got a hole in the wall, they're stuffing one another between the hall. Christ, he said. Then he said, there's drugs down there. He said, they're injecting drugs in their arms. He said, terrible. Then they're down here sniffing glue, for Christ's sake. Do you know, Jethro, he said, if anybody come in here now for a good shit, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Air freshener.
I'm having a good mood tonight. I am. When I get home, I'm going to rip my wife's pants right off. They're cutting into my pissing leg here. We was at home. He had a job working with an undertaker, and he come up and he said, boss, he said, this woman downstairs, she got a prawn in her fanny. He said, that's not a prawn, son, that's a clitoris. We said, tastes like a prawn. But they went in the box and fell up, and he died with an erection. You're like, this Christ. Then I said, what do I do about this, boss? He said, just give it a hit with a hilt of the hammer and it'll go away. Oh. Well, he put the claws between his fingers and he let her. Shit. Put a great blue welt about a foot back from the end. And this bloody thing flopped down. Christ, said, you was right, boss. And he sprang up again. He said, what we do now, boss? He said, hit the damn thing, you never half hit it. You won't make much of an undertaker unless you can hit anybody's cock harder than that. He said, I'll show you what to do. And he leathered this bugger fat right across the belly and shit. It makes me sweat just to think about it. And he flopped right down. He said, that's the way to do it, son. He said, it's moving, boss. He sprung right up again. He said, what do we do now, boss? He said, I think we better get out. He said, I got a feeling we're in the wrong house. He came in here last week from cricket. Oh, Christ, he said, I've been hit with a bastard cricket ball. And my wife took him out in the kitchen. And she took his cock out and she bathed his cock in some warm water. It was the same saucepan you had your mushrooms in tonight. And she put his cock in some warm water and radox and a few rose petals. And she smoothed his cock down with a little bit of muslin. He says, is that any better? He said, yes. He said, I think what you've done have helped a hell of a lot. But he said, I still think I should lose a nail. But he was playing with Lou down there, Calstock, and they got a West Indian bowler. Christ. Shit. By Christ, he's a fast bastard. He got the biggest top lip I ever seen. And he got a hole each side so he can see where he's going when he's whistling. Well, this bugger run up and bowled this ball with Dendel said, shit! And the ball went right up his asshole. And we took him to hospital in Plymouth, and they said, what happened? I said, well, he was playing cricket for New Down, and that bastard West Indian from down to Calstock bowled too fast, and his ball's gone right up his ass. Christ, he said, how's that? I said, don't you piss and start.
Oh, God, that's
I
good.
was coming up through Bodmin this morning, and there's Penberthy out in the field kissing the cow's ass. I said, Denzel, why you kiss the cow's ass? He said, I got terrible chapped lips. And I said, did that cure chapped lips? No, but they said it will stop you licking them for a minute.
You gotta tell Joe and Viv that one. Oh, fuck.
It's that day for me, ladies and gentlemen, because it's the anniversary today of the death of my uncle who lost his life tragically in the battle of a little bighorn. And he won in the battle. He's nothing to do with the battle. He's camping in the next field. And he went over complaining about all the noise and stuff. Bastard shot. But let's have a drink, fellas.
Oh, my God.
Let's have a piss up, shall us? Andy, get everybody a drink. I shouldn't be drinking really because alcohol killed my first wife. I loved my first wife and alcohol killed her. I come home pissed and shot her. I'll give you a tip. If you're in Salisbury after the show, don't go for that bloody Indian food. That bloody stuff. Don't you eat that bloody stuff. Last time we saw we went for some of that bloody stuff out there. Don't you eat that bloody stuff. It's not only hot when you eat the bloody stuff.
He's holding his butt.
Next morning, my ass went down for a drink. No wonder, Gandhi, where they bloody great gossips in this kingdom. But I suppose the worst ever was when we went to Birmingham to see a Michael Jackson concert, and we left Cornwall and got as far as Exeter in the Land Rover, and the bloody Land Rover broke down, and we called the AA man. What a lovely man. Got underneath the bonnet with a screwdriver. Well, Denzel was driving. He said, I think I found the trouble. See if he will start. First time. Brrr. Denzel said, that's fantastic. He said, what was the matter with it? He said, you got shit, he said. He said, you got shit, he said, in the carburetor.
Shit in the carburetor.
He said, how often have I got to do that?
Shit in the carburetor.
Dear Jethro, sorry to embarrass you in public, but you haven't paid for your double glazing. That bastard told me in 12 months he'd paid for himself. Another birthday request, Kevin Hicks is 111 today. No, he isn't, he's ill. Well, we hope it gets better. Shit.
What commercial?
I went in to see him play in the theater in Plymouth, and I went in, and there's a man lying on the seat. I said, what's the matter? I said, you don't look very well. He said, I said, you don't look well. I said, what do you call? He said, Jimmy Riddle. He said, Jimmy Riddle. I said, where are you from? He said, the balcony. Well, you know, we work all over the world. We've been all over the country, but to find a good hotel is the problem. I mean, the people in the theaters, they say, Jethro, I should tell you where's a good hotel, and it's a semi-detached slum. I went in I knocked the door and the woman came out, she said, what do you want? I said, I want to stop here. She said, well, bloody stop here and slam the door. I said, how much is it to stay a week? She said, I don't know. She said, nobody ever stayed a week. She said, it'll be £50. I said, I'll pay that with pleasure. She said, with pleasure, it's £96. But lovely, she said, you'll have to make your own bed. I said, I don't mind that. She said, well, hammer nails in the corner. And the waiter came in, he had his thumb in my soup. I said, you got your thumb in my soup? He said, I know. He said, I've been hit it with a hammer, and the doctor said, I got to keep it warm. I said, well, stick up your asshole. He said, I do when I'm in the kitchen.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And the fella came out of the bathroom, he said, have you got a good memory for faces? I said, very good. He said, you'll need one, there's no pissing mirror in there. I've just come back from Ireland. Anybody from Ireland? Is there anybody from Ireland? I trust the bastards I know do. My God, they bloody frightened me. That IRA, they frightened me. Boom! Shit. Oh, well. At least they're better than the gas board. They do give you a bit of warning, I suppose. But I've also been to Wales. Anybody from Wales? I tell you, I went for a piddle in Wales. Great. That's all different now. In Wales, a sheep tied to a lamppost, they call that a leisure centre. But I always remember when my little daughter was 4, we went down to Payne Zoo, and there was an elephant in Payne Zoo with the cock hanging out about 4 foot.
Great.
She said, what's that, Daddy? I said, ask your mother. She said, I asked Mother, and she said, it's nothing. I said, there you go. She's been spoiled, see? That bloody from birth. I haven't finished the first story I told you yet, but I'll finish that in a minute. That bloody from birth, he come to work. I said, what you got? He said, the thermos flask. I said, what the hell's that? He said, it's bloody good. If you put anything hot in it, it'll keep it hot. And if you put it in cold, it'll keep it cold. I said, that's bloody good. I said, what have you got in it? He said, 2 chalk ices and 3 cups of coffee.
Oh, Christ.
But he was telling me, when his father went to war, he said, Father, he said, I always love, he said, one of them German helmets with a big spike. He said, well, he said, I'll try to get you one, but he said, I mightn't return, son. You never know, I might return. But he said, I'll try. If I do, I'll see if I can get one of them German helmets with the pissing great spike. And he's out looking at his trench one day, and there was a German helmet in the mud with that bloody great spike. I'm not turning you on, darling. I'm not going to. There's no batteries, don't worry. He said, I could get it. And he got out and he run across the mud and he caught all this spike and he couldn't get the bugger out in the mud. And he pulled, he said, and he was a bloody German on the end of the bastard. He said, look, mate, you can have me helmet. He said, just get me out in the mud. He said, I'll be your prisoner. He said, just get me out in the mud. He said, I'll get you out in the mud, mate, if I can have your bloody helmet. And he pulled and dragged and he got his shoulders out. Christ, he said, I'm just about bloody knackered. And the German said, would it help if I took my feet out the stirrups? But I had to go to the doctor, and he said, strip off. He said, you go to the toilet regular? I said, oh yeah. I said, go 7:30 every morning. He said, that's good. I said, it ain't good if you don't get out of bed till 10 o'clock.
Not a big shit.
Got out of bed.
He said, strip off my words. He said, good God, by Jove. By God, he said, your balls are brown. I said, nothing doing me balls, it's my elbow. He said, I know it's your elbow, but by Christ. Do you know, he said, I don't know when I've seen browner balls. I said, nothing doing me balls. I'm happy in me balls, it's me bloody elbow. I can't go like that. He said, well, what it used to be like? I said, it used to be able to go like that. That's nothing to do with the joke at all. You must be worth a fortune. You don't waste a lot on your clothes. Not your... Mine, he said, your ball. I said, listen, it's nothing doing my ball. He said, I know that. He said, I will tend to your elbow, but by Christ. Oh, Jesus, he said, your balls are brown. I said, well, I'm bloody not interested. By help. And I got home, and I'm in the bad mood. I'm bloody nasty when I got home. I said to my missus, where's me bloody tea, you fat bastard cow-faced pig? She said, you're always in the bad mood. I've done the washing, ironing, I've done the gardening, I've done everything you do. She said, I haven't had time to wipe my ass for a week. I said, I want to talk to you about that. And Denzel came in the pub last week carrying a bloody great dog shit. He said, look at what I nearly stepped in. But we've had a big family reunion, and all my aunties have turned up. I've had sleep upstairs with Father up in the attic. He woke up 4:30 in the morning. Jethro, he said, I'm going downstairs to give your mother a portion. I said, you're 98. He said, I don't care. He said, I woke up with an erection here. He said, I haven't had an erection since 1974. And I think it's only fair I go down and split your mother's whiskers. Well, I said, you have to take me with you. You holding my cock. Israel, they're the bravest, them Jews, the bravest race on earth. All I can do is take my hat off to them men. What a brave lot of men they are. Who else would have a piece off before they knew how long it's going to be? That's brave. I went in with Denzel. He went in the doctor and he hung his cock out on the counter. And the doctor said, what's the matter with it? He says, nothing. He says, it's a bloody beauty, isn't it? We're very fortunate now. We got a coloured family living in the village. And anybody that think this video is going to be politically correct, you might as well piss off now, because it bloody doesn't won't be. I shall take the mick tonight out of black people, white people, fat people, thin people. I'll take the piss out of myself. I won't take the piss out of you, because I think the Lord did a fair job before I started. We got the black fella living in the village. Now, he's a black bugger. He came in the pub last Friday night and he farted and filled the place with soot. But his wife, she's a lovely woman, his wife. She is a lovely woman. She's a big black woman, but she's a lovely woman. She went down to the doctor and she said, I've damaged my thumb. He said, do you think I could have a quick look up your fanny? She said, well, whatever for? He said, I'd just like to have a quick look up your fanny. He said, I've just bought a black three-piece suite and I wonder how we'd look with pink cushions. The boy, he's a lovely boy. He's a little black fella. He's a lovely little fella. Last week he covered himself in flour. He went and he said to Mummy, he said, look, Mummy, he said, I'm not a black boy anymore. I'm a little white boy. She said, you, what a terrible thing to say. She smashed the poor little bugger in the eye. She said, you're not a little white boy. You're a beautiful little black boy and you're a joy to the family. You're not a white boy. What a terrible thing. I didn't think I'd ever hear it. She said, you go and tell your father what you told me. And he said, look, Dad, I'm not a little black boy anymore. I'm a little white boy. Father smacked right in the nose, made his nose bleed with all this flour and blood and bath. He said, you go and tell your granny what you told me. And he said, Granny said, I'm not a black boy anymore. I'm a little white boy now. Granny came straight in the bollocks. She said, how dare you say that? He said, you know, Gran, he's hard right in the middle. But he said, I've only been a white boy now for 10 minutes and I hate you black bastard already.
Oh my God.
We'll do one more and then we'll stop.
Okay.
All day with my wife. I hate my bloody wife, a bastard. And she said, I'm going to take a skunk home. I said, you'll never get a skunk in the country. You got to smuggle it in. I said, how are you going to get a skunk in the bloody country? The custom will stop you. She said, I'll stuff it down my knickers. I said, what about the smell? I said, well, you'll get used to that.
Oh my God.
But, he will. He'll get used to it. But I'm bloody, but Berthy, he come out, he went out and bought a new pair of boots, and his missus, she's a miserable bastard, that woman is. He put these boots on and he sit cross-legged on the seat. She miserable cow. She wouldn't even remark on his new boot. He done every bloody thing, and she wouldn't. She seen him a bloody cow. She wouldn't say, Denzel, you got a nice new pair of boots. He said, I'll make her a bloody note of them. And he went to bed and he took off everything but his boots. When he came in, he said, Mildred, do you see anything different about me? No, she said, same skinny old ribs. And your old dickie hanging down there. He said, Mildred, that's pointing at my new boots. She said, what a pity you didn't buy a new hat.
Oh my God.
You see, when he was fishing down Newland, he was on the fishing boats down Newland, and his wife went in, because they've been trying to have a baby, and he hadn't been working, and she went in for a test on the Wednesday. Well, Friday, Denzel went in for the result on the way fishing. And he went in and he said, what's the result? He said, well, I can tell you, Mr. Bumberthy, he said, your wife has got an inadequate passage, and if she has a baby, it'll be a miracle. Oh. And they said, I got to get this right. He said, she got an inadequate passage, and if she have a baby, it'll be a miracle. He said, I'll tell her when I get home. Well, he went fishing 15 hours. Then he come back and went on the piss for about 6. And he got home pissed as a bloody mattress. And she said, well, what did the doctor say about the baby? I said, I'll tell you what he said. He said, you got an attic in your passage. And if you have a baby, it'll be a mackerel. But I know, when I always remember that my first girlfriend, I've been meaning to take her home for months, and we had the pony and jingle outside the chapel, and I arranged to take her home after chapel. Christ. And I got in the jingle, and she crossed her legs. I thought, well, that's that idea up the chute anyway. Well, you don't know what to say, do you, Richard? I was going on for miles. I didn't know what to say. You get so bloody embarrassed. Going on clip-clop for bloody miles, and then the horse lifted his tail and let out the wettest fart I said, my dear, I don't know what to say. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. I don't know what to say. She said, well, don't worry, because I thought the horse done it anyway. He said to me, he said, Jethro, I want to buy your greyhound. I said, I want 25 quid. He said, I'll give you 25 quid now. I said, I don't want to sell him. He's too good. But he said, if you do ever want to sell a greyhound, he said, I'll give you 25 quid. I said, or if I sell it, you shall have it. I got up next morning, the bugger's dead. Shit. So I ring Denzel. I said, do you want that greyhound? He said, I do. I said, I'll send it over. I never heard a word. And I seen him last Friday down the greyhound meeting. Hey, he said, you bastard. He said, you sent me that greyhound. He said, the bugger was dead. And he said, you know the blood thing was dead. I said, I only done it for a joke. I said, only a bit of fun. I'll give you your money back. He said, I don't want your money back. He said, I made a profit on it anyway. I said, how you managed that? Well, he said, I raffled it. 100 tickets, £5 a ticket. Christ.
Christ.
I said, didn't anybody complain? He said, the winner did, so I give him his money back.
Clever.
He've had trouble with piles. And they give him this tablet, and they said, put these in your back passage in the morning. And he went to see the doctor yesterday. He said, a waste of time. They're bloody tablets. He said, I put them in the back passage. He said, I put them in the front passage. He said, for the good of done, I might as well stuff them up my ass. But he come home pissed. And when he got home, it's a black man in the bed with his missus. A black man. Christ. Well, Denzel jumped in with, and then he looked down the bottom. He said, Mildred, he said, there's 6 feet sticking out the bottom of that bed. She said, no, you're pissed again. She said, get out and count them. And he got out, he said, Mildred, you're right, there is only 4. He said, I must... He said, I must wash my feet, they're bloody filthy. But he went in a shop in Plymouth, in the woman's shop, and the man, he said, you shouldn't be in the shop. He said, we only sell women's things. He said, well, I'll have 4. But when he went to Germany, he got picked up with a prostitute in Germany, dirty bastard. And he went out in the morning without paying. She said, what about the marks? He said, 9 out of 10.
Great.
When he was up in London, he got mixed up with a woman up there. Christ. And he said, well, I'm near Piccadilly Circus. He said, what's all these flashing lights? She said, well, you're near Piccadilly Circus. There's all the neon signs, Vimto and Pepsi and Christ. Oh, yeah. Well, he had a good time, but fortnight ago, he's home ploughing the field, and a man stopped. He said, are you Mr. Pemberthy? He said, huh? He said, was you in London a fortnight ago and slept with a woman? He said, well, he said, you did, and he said, you've seen a lot of flashing lights, and the woman said you're near Piccadilly. He said, yeah. Well, he said, that wasn't Piccadilly. He said, that was flashes from my camera. He said, you were sleeping with my wife. He said, and what do you think of that lot? Well, Denzel said, seeing as you've come so far, he said, I'll have 3 postcards and 2 families. Last Christmas, he took a job in Tesco's as Father Christmas.
Oh, God.
He's short of money and he don't like kids too much, but he's in Tesco's as Father Christmas. And the young girl come and sit on his knee. And he said, what do you want for Christmas, dear? She said, I want some hairs on my fanny.
Oh, God.
He said, would a grey beard be any good?
Oh, that's so wrong.
When Denzel got married, he got married on the building site, and we said to Denzel, are you having sex every day? Oh, he said, every day. He said, have you tried a little bit up the other hole? Croto. He said, I couldn't do that. She's the vicar's daughter. He said, I said, well, could try. You've been married 2 years now. Ask her if you can have a try the other hole. He said, I daren't. I said, go on. You've been married. She can only say no. Well, he said, I will. I'll ask her tonight. As you've been giving one every day for 2 years, time for a bit of change. He said, I'll ask her tonight. You come in next morning. I said, did you ask her if you tried the other hole? He said, well, I did ask her, but she said we can't afford children yet.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Okay, he's so good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, fuck. Oh God. Okay.
There was actually more, but I can't. My cheeks hurt.
Okay, yeah.
We'll do
take a
another
break.
video.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We'll do another one, another
My stomach
part 2.
hurts.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, it's just constant with him.
Yeah.
Holy jeez.
Yeah.
It's so dirty. So wrong. How would you like gray whiskers?
It's so bad.
It's so wrong. That's just funny though. Fuck off. Terrible, but funny. Oh God. Okay. Good old Jethro. You just can't go wrong with Jethro. Oh, it's too bad he's not still alive.
Yeah.
Imagine the content he'd be popping out nowadays, you know? Oh.
I want to tell a lot of those jokes to my family and yours too, because
My family could handle it. I don't think your
I'm pretty
family
sure
could
nobody
handle
over
dirty
here has
jokes
really
like
heard Jethro or heard of Jethro. So
that. No, I don't think so.
So it'd be all of the jokes would be quite fresh for them. But although you got to tell it a certain way, right? Like you could tell the same joke, but if it's the way he does it, it's so...
Oh, it's his delivery.
His delivery, his demeanor,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's hard to replicate.
It's like just some funny guy telling jokes in a bar, you know?
Yeah. Christ bastard.
I love it. I would have loved to have met him in real life, you know?
Yeah.
I would have gotten along well with Jethro.
Oh, he's an uncle you wish you had. Like, he really is.
Oh, maybe.
No, well, for jokes anyway.
For jokes.
Maybe not for going on adventures with.
Oh, I would have hung out with him. Oh,
Him and Denzel.
oh,
And Berthy.
Jesus. Oh, God, okay.
So now you know how to keep from licking your lips.
I just gotta kiss
If they get dry. Asshole! You're used to kissing an
That's
asshole
what she
every
said.
night.
I am. You ever see me licking my lips?
That's why you put that stuff on, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's cow's asshole.
Okay, anyways, this is
All right.
silly.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm sorry that you couldn't enjoy the video parts, but
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too
the last time we've actually had done quite a few Jethro videos, but they got pulled down, which was unfortunate.
I actually think we got a strike once. Was
Yeah.
it for Jethro? Yeah, like a couple years ago, and we had to take all our Jethro stuff down.
Yeah, there's a few on there that seem to have gotten through, so
Yeah,
it's too bad because he's one of my favorites.
I know, me too.
Same with Jim Davidson too. Like we did some of his stuff, the Cinderella show and that. And I actually got a direct email from Jim Davidson saying, "Could you please pull this video off?"
Oh, and from Red Green as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but they were nice. They They actually we got a strike,
Well, they were nice,
but they removed it after we spoke to them. So
they were good.
So yeah, so that's a good thing.
So that's the tricky part of doing this. Is you want to respect people's thing, but you also want to enjoy
respect the
it.
copyright.
You want to enjoy it and then share it. So
Yeah, and share content, but
Yeah.
it's obviously it's not our content, so.
so
But
please
anyways.
watch it anyway.
Or listen to it with us.
And listen
yeah.
and watch us giggle, and we appreciate that. That would be great. And let us know your comments. Please like and subscribe. And remember, check the Jethro playlist of whatever's left of Jethro. You can watch that.
And remember, if you don't want to lick your lips, just kiss an asshole.
Kiss an asshole good morning. And shake and kiss your asshole when you get back home.
Oh, you'll get used to it.
Do 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 do. Bye.
Bye.
في أكبر